I'm June Lovejoy. I do a lot of jobs in Japan, but I'm mostly known for working in the JAV industry, which is the Japanese adult video industry, and I work as a porn star here in Japan. I think for Americans, I don't know what it's like in France, but when we are younger and watching TV, there's like Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon. We love it, but we don't know that it's Japanese. And when I was maybe 8 years old, I met a girl who was half Japanese, half German, and she went to school with me and we became friends. And from there, I realized like Dragon Ball is from Japan. There's a country where all of these amazing things are at, and I fell in love with Japan. But yeah, maybe from age 8. Originally, I wanted to be an interpreter and translator. I just love like nerdy stuff. Like as a kid, I loved like anime, manga, like every nerdy person in Japan, like a foreigner, typically takes that route. Before I moved to Japan, I was just like who I am now, I guess. Like just very nerdy, I love books, I love learning new things. But before I got into the adult industry, I worked as an interpreter for a big gaming company in Japan. It was like a standard corrupt Japanese company, but it was for my dream company. Like I can't say the name, but it's a company that I always wanted to work for as a little kid. I always wanted to be a part of this company. And when I finally got into it, long hours, like sexual harassment, not only like there weren't only bad things that happened to me, it would happen to people like my kohais, like people who worked under me, and I couldn't do anything about it. So it kind of destroyed my spirit. So I'm really glad I quit, but I'm glad I worked there because I, learned about Japan in a way that I feel like you cannot learn through anime or even movies or even just talking to people. You have to be in it, suffer, and you can understand Japan a little bit more deeply. But I don't like that no matter how long you or I as foreigners live in Japan, work really hard to assimilate, learn the language, learn the culture, we will forever be outsiders. I don't need to be recognized as a Japanese person, but I would still like to be not considered an outsider for the rest of my life. It's so frustrating because honestly, like from an American perspective, anyone can be American, any race, any nationality, as long as you become, like your passport is American, you are bona fide American. So I guess that's kind of frustrating. Again, I don't know what it's like in France, but in America it's very dangerous for people to walk alone, especially women. But in Japan, I can do pretty much anything and be free and safe and happy and healthy. So. Like I mentioned earlier, the job was really, I stayed in the job for a long time. I had been in Japan for a very long time. And when I would talk to my coworkers or my friends about maybe leaving that really bad job, my interpreting job, they would say, oh, June, but all companies in Japan are corrupt. No matter where you go, you're going to suffer. And looking back, that's really dark, but I took it literally, that advice, and I was like, okay, well, if all the jobs are bad, I want to do something that I'm going to have fun with at least. So even if I'm having a bad day, at least I'm having fun, and I chose that job. So I looked around at like hostess jobs or like kabakura because I like human sexuality, I like eroticism, and I can't draw, so like erotic manga artist was off the table. And then I saw that they were like, porn was an option, and with the porn industry here, they tell you like who you're going to work with, what you're going to do, when, and also there's like STD test. And with other like sex work, they don't have STD testing for the partner, but with porn they do, and I felt like I could do it safely and still have fun, and that's how I picked it. I reached out to 3 companies, all of them got back to me, and the one that was nicest or kindest and didn't treat me like a foreigner, like the other 2 companies were like, even though I spoke Japanese, they would respond in English or like say a word and say like, wakaru? And it was so like offensive to me, but the company I ended up going with, they just treated me normally. They were like, they had a whiteboard and they said, this is how the job works, this is how the payment works, are you comfortable with this? And it just felt like a normal job interview, and they were very kind. But getting in the industry is almost like any other job. You just have an interview and you learn about the job, and if you're okay with it, you get in. I was very excited. I don't know why, because sometimes people say like, oh, were you nervous to like get naked on camera? And I was like, I didn't even think about it. And I'm like, is my brain broken? Because I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about how excited I was to like start this new chapter of my life. And to be blunt, like I was really excited to get like, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get laid. I never ever thought like I'm nervous or I don't know what I'm doing. I just felt like what I was doing was right and I was very excited for it. I've been in the industry for about 3 years now and I've been in over 200 films.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm working hard, but eventually I'm gonna retire, so. I don't really know about European, but for example, American porn, it's silly. Most of the time it's very silly and it's more about the actual like sex part. But in Japan, you have to be good at acting. Yeah, they really put a lot of pressure. I'm really good at acting, so no problems here, but you have to remember a really big or thick script and you have to really sell it because that's what makes the sex scene so good, is all of the build-up up until the sex scene, the story, the drama, and that's really important with Japanese JV. I love One Piece. Anyone who likes One Piece is a good person. And I'm so excited for the Netflix show because that means more One Piece fans are gonna explode. Even our moms are gonna be like, oh, Ami, have you heard of this One Piece? Do you know Luffy? Sabo's good. Girls like Sabo, I could give this to someone. I'm not a Sabo fan. I don't hate him, but I'm not like, Sabo. All-time favorite, Buggy. So we're winning right now, we're winning. And then I like Ivankov and I love Sanji. Japanese like JAV shoots are very long. They typically take a full day, and I've even had a 24-hour shoot from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. the next day. But in America, it's like a 40-minute scene, just a sex scene, and then you're done. But in Japan, there's like a photo shoot for the cover of the DVD. There's promotional photos. There's a story, so they don't just like have sex. There's like a teacher, and this is the setup and the build-up to the sex scene. So yeah, in America, it's like a 40-minute thing, whereas in Japan, it's like a 300-minute DVD that they're releasing. So the things that they sell are also different. Yeah, there's so many differences. You could do a whole video on just the differences. So they'll send an offer, they'll say, we would like it to have 2 sex scenes, one like erotic dancing scene, whatever, it doesn't matter. They'll type out everything, every single thing, and then the amount of money, when they want to shoot, how long it's going to be. Everything is typed out so like perfectly and in great detail. And if I agree for the shoot, then I have to get an STD test within 2 weeks of the shoot. I show up on set, they will already have the clothes for me. I don't have to do my makeup. There's a professional makeup artist. She does my makeup, my hair. We'll do the package photo, which is the DVD cover. That takes about an hour to 2 hours. When we finish that, I'll probably shower, and then we will do maybe 1 sex scene. Sex scene takes anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. I'm not fucking for 2 hours, but there's like a lot of like cuts, and then they'll do a different angle, or maybe we have to like put on more lube or whatever. And then we eat lunch, then we do another scene. There's a lot of paperwork to be signed. It's a lot. I'm realizing like it is a lot in one day. Then we take like 300 Polaroids because the Polaroids are sold with the DVD. So a big issue with the porn industry is everyone just watches it for free on a pirating site. And how we try to get people to actually buy the film and support our work is we'll add like a special photo. And with Polaroids, there's only one in the entire world, right? Like it's only one. It's signed, it's from the onset. But we take like 300 to 500 of those.
Wow.
Pretty insane. 3 things. One, a foreigner that speaks fluent Japanese is hard to come by in the industry. There are foreigners who come like from Europe or America. They cannot speak Japanese, so they play the foreigner role, but they cannot do the story-based roles because they cannot speak Japanese. 2, I'm like a golden retriever of a human. As a human, I love people. I'm very respectful to anyone on set, not just the producer. The guy who brings me my water, I'm very kind and very excited to work together. So I think they think I'm easy to work with. And 3, I'm like really good at film, like really good. And I like doing it. I'm not like, oh no, I feel so bad that I'm in the porn industry. I'm so sad. I'm like, I get to like eat out a woman today and suck some dick. I'm ready. So I think the enthusiasm and the excitement to be on set makes it easier to work with. Really, really good question because I think about it all the time. I think no, but it's because I speak Japanese. So if I was, like I have friends who cannot speak Japanese but they come from America and film here, and the things that are expected of them are a little bit different because they don't speak Japanese. But what's expected of me is sometimes they ask me to speak katakoto, which is like broken Japanese. They don't want me to speak it fluently, but they know that I know enough Japanese that I can fake speaking broken Japanese. And I will also play a lot of like English teacher or foreign exchange student. I guess that's expected of me, and that's a role that Japanese people can't play. Oh yeah, that's a big image, yeah. I thought it too. Before I went in for my interview, I was like, okay, I need to be ready to meet like gang members. And I walked in and it was like the cleanest building, the nicest guy. And the Yakuza stuff was true maybe a long time ago, like 20 years ago. But now the porn industry makes no money. The only people that are in it, for the most part, are just perverts that are having fun being there. And we can pay our rent a little bit, but it's no longer like a big money industry. So the Yakuza doesn't want to be there. Do you know where the Yakuza really is? It's like the idol or like anime or seiyuu industry. And that's something that really pisses me off about like all the prejudice that sex workers in Japan get, is they say like, oh, the Yakuza is controlling them. No, the Yakuza is controlling your favorite idol. You just don't know enough about Japan to recognize that. The Yakuza only goes where the money is. And in JV, there's not that much money. I say no because in order to work in the Japanese industry, in the beginning, you have to be a part of an agency. I was a part of an agency, but I went freelance a year ago. And when you're a part of an agency, they take 50 to 70% of your pay. So say you get paid 100,000 yen for one scene, you're only making like 50,000 yen. That's not enough, but you have to pay that amount to your agency. So it's not really a lucrative job. I don't think it pays that well. Before, I used to do like 5 films a week, but now I'm trying to move away from appearing in films, and I'd rather film the film. So like yesterday, I filmed a porn. I wasn't in it. I was the cameraman. It was so fun. Wow. Yeah, I was like, if you're on a porn set, if you're the cameraman, you have to go like, because the actress is looking and it makes her feel better. And I know that whenever I'm being filmed, if the director's like, I feel better, and I'm like, okay, I'll keep going. So I need you to be like, right now, I feel like I'm recognized for my work in the adult industry, but that's not even how I pay my rent anymore. I do mostly like producing or consulting, interpreting a cosplay, but my day-to-day life, I'm kind of insane. I don't take any breaks. I work every day. Even today, I got up at 8, had meetings all morning until I see you, and after we finish filming, I have to go do 2 more meetings. And it's mostly helping Japanese companies that want to go to America, helping them, or helping American companies who want to come to Japan. So I do a lot of consulting with that, but they all know me from porn, I guess. So, weird transition. So when I decided to go into the industry, I was fully aware that bad people, would eventually try to use it against me. They would say maybe like, oh, if you don't do this, we're going to tell your family. So as soon as my first film was decided on, I messaged my mother and all my friends, I'm going to be in porn now. So I wanted to take away the power from anyone who maybe wanted to hurt me. But my mom, all she said was, okay, be careful. And even now, like my mother runs a coffee shop in America, and her customers will say, oh, what does your daughter do? And she's like, oh, my daughter's a famous porn star in Japan. And I'm like, Mom, you cannot say that to people. Like, you can't. It's crazy that she's very happy and open about me. Yeah. And my friends, if you're my friend, you're a pervert, so. I'm gonna die here, baby. Like I don't want to live anywhere but Japan. But I would like to be someone who, anything I'd like to do creatively, whether it's adult or non-adult, I'm just doing it, and I'm recognized as June Lovejoy, not just as like a porn star, but just, June Lovejoy, like creative. I love their movies, or I love their porn, or I love their cosplay. I just want to be seen as someone who's like multifaceted and is doing many creative projects. No, not one title. I don't need one title. But if you watch my porn and you say, oh, June Lovejoy, my favorite porn actress, I won't complain.
Ça va?
Ah! On est là.
Ouais.
On est là. I think I'm really grateful about moving here. Like all of my adult life has been spent in Japan. And I feel like because I moved here at such a young age, it kind of changed some things about me. And one thing I'm really grateful about is Japanese people are, for better or worse, always thinking about people around them. Sometimes they take it to an extreme, but I really like that I'm always thinking like, oh, am I bothering someone? Am I in the way? Or if I go on a trip, I think, oh, I should get like a souvenir for not just my closest friend, but my colleagues or my work partners. I love it. I feel like I've become more polite and more courteous to others because of Japanese society, and that's my favorite part of Japanese society. On the other hand, my least favorite is I hate how like focused they are on, again, everyone else around them. So they say things like, oh, I'm 30 now, I can't cosplay. Why? Or, oh, I can't do this because people will think it's weird. Or like they care so much about people around them, and maybe people in France and even America do the same thing, but who gives a shit? Like if you want to do something, just do it. Like I wish people could enjoy their lives more. And in Japan, it's very, very prevalent that people care about everyone around them and will sacrifice their core beliefs or what they really want to do, their dreams, just so they don't get a weird look.
What's your favorite food?
I love sushi.
At least your friend is your French language.
Yeah, I post in French because I speak fluent French. So.
Thank you very much, June. It was amazing. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Merci.